Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Freeman Files here on the J Free 906 podcast channel. Mike Owen and returning once again, Mr. Pete Kelsey. How you guys doing?
Doing well.
Awesome.
All is good.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. What a great another great episode, man. They're finishing us out of the season with a bang. Literally a bang with last night's episode. We know that next week will probably be a little, I think most of it's going to be in the conference room over at the Brandon Fugel big center that he has there. His office is over there. So a lot of it will be over there, but I sure hope that we get some data from some of the things that we haven't seen yet, the data on yet. We'll go through some of that tonight. What did you think, Mike? Was it another great episode as far as you thought?
Yes, but Prometheus needs to not cause us this much stress. There's no reason for that. We're still going to come watch. You can spread this out and make it not so much of a nail biter down to the last episode. Yeah. I mean, it's all right. We'll still be there. And it was a lot to digest. I think I watched this one maybe the most, rewatched it to try and catch as much as I could, because there was a lot. I mean, each one of these segments, almost could have been an episode in and of itself.
Yes.
So, yep.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah, it really could have. I thought so too. Did you get a chance to watch it, Pete?
I did.
All right.
Yeah, we're all a bunch of pyromaniacs, clearly.
You know what was kind of funny, though? There was no rockets last night. I was a little disappointed. I'm like, hey, where's the rockets? Folks, thanks for joining us here tonight. We appreciate it very much. And as I always say, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel and click on that notification bell. I guess I don't know. Some people are telling me they're not actually getting the notifications, and some people do. So I don't know if all that's working the way it's supposed to or not, but it's there to let you know when we go live and when we have new content coming up. They do a lot of stuff, but have to fit it all into 14 episodes. Well, 13, because 14 is just a season review. Exactly. Thank you, Michelle. I know, right? We would love to see more of it. And as Mike said, there has been so much crammed into those last three that it's like, and then we got this super cliffhanger. I don't know who would have been responsible for a cliffhanger.
Really, Pete?
Really? Prometheus.
Yes, they are responsible. That's true. Oh my goodness. All right. So, before we get started too, I wanted to say also, next week, folks, is going to be a banger of a show. I tell you what, for the season finale of the Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. Listen to this lineup to start off. All right. So next week in the finale review, we're going to have Mr. Pete Kelsey right there, Mr. Jan Francke, Dr. Jan Francke, Ben Woodruff, and Chris Roberts. All four are going to be joining Mike and I next week. Does it get any better? I don't know. No, I don't think so.
Sounds like a rowdy crew.
A rogues gallery.
A rogues gallery. Oh my gosh, indeed. And if anybody feels left out, Pete, I know you'll be talking to them tomorrow night. Maybe if any of them feel left out, tell them they're welcome to join us. I mean, if
I will,
I think always. I can fit 10 with Mike and I. That's 8 more people we can have in here. So,
and I'll go to the green room. I'll sit out.
And there's one right there. Mr. Bard is welcome to come too. Next Wednesday night for the season finale, Mr. Bard, you're welcome, of course, as always.
Get in here, Eric. What are you doing out there? Get in here.
All right. Right. So, but yeah, for those who I have confirmations, it's those 4 people right there: Pete Kelsey, Chris Roberts, Jan Francke, Ben Woodruff. So, and it's I don't think Mike and I are going to get a word in edgewise. We're just going to sit back and just watch what happens with everybody from the show. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So join us next week for sure. And also, for those of you who are into the Curse of Oak Island persuasion, we're going to be doing a little news at noon tomorrow. We got a lot of things to talk about. We're going to try to keep it short. That's what news at noons are all about, keeping it short. But we're going to do that tomorrow. And so we'll have a lot of fun with that and some of the things that are happening on the shoe. So stress. All right. You know what? Let me, while I'm thinking about it, let me just do something real quick here. Sorry. I know I'm probably frozen because I'm off the screen for a minute. Bear with me. Just sending somebody a link.
If it's a 4-hour show, I'm going to need an intermission. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Yes.
it might be a 4-hour show. Yeah. Yeah.
Brought to you by Depends.
It might depend. We might need it. Oh, did you guys see? And I tell you honestly, this has been a banger week for having podcasts to watch, because we had, not only did we have the oh my gosh, I'm at a loss for names all of a sudden. Robert Bigelow was on a podcast with that's the name I'm having trouble with all of a sudden.
George Knapp.
George Knapp.
Yep.
Thank you, George Knapp. I watched that one. That was awesome. And
that's actually his podcast. It's being
Bigelow's.
Yeah, and I think it was on Mystery Wire, which is Knapp's, but he's hosting it for Bigelow, and he's going to be a regular podcast.
Yeah.
So they're going to take as much time as they need to talk about anything and everything that Bigelow is willing to talk about, and they've been fantastic.
Skinwalker Ranch a little bit too. Yeah.
Yep.
He's
talked about quite a bit.
I'd love to ask you, because you just said you watched it, Jeff, if you heard the description of what Lukaski saw in Homestead 1, and how it's pretty much the identical description of what Cameron and I saw from the helicopter that aired last week. I nearly fell out of my chair.
Yeah. Yep.
And he didn't say anything while they were on the ranch. He waited until they were on the way home.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, what? Why didn't you say something sooner? But
so worth a watch, y'all.
Yeah.
Really interesting corroborative information, perhaps.
Yes. Yeah. I thought
validating.
So too. Yes.
Yeah.
Quite validating. And then we had also the if anybody is into the Y Files, I've been watching the Y Files for a long time, and I loved AJ and the things he goes through in the Y Files. Great. It was a great, it was never a podcast. It was just clips, and he would tell these stories of whatever, everything from JFK to whatever. I mean, and then he started a new one called The Basement, where he actually interviews people, where he interviewed Dr. Travis Taylor. That was 3 hours long, and I still haven't finished it. I'm about 2 hours in, and I got an hour to go.
Yeah, that was good too. That the thing that I noticed is you get a better sense for just how intelligent he is, and how well schooled he is, and it's because I think people forget that on the shows he has to explain things, at like a 5th grade level. I mean, that's what news media and entertainment, they're shooting for the middle level education, and so he doesn't talk like a professor or someone with multiple degrees. But on the show he did, and he's no slouch. He knows his stuff. He's good.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that, people have asked me, well, how come you haven't had Travis Taylor on your podcast? Well, I have reached out to him a long time ago about it, and I don't bug people. So I wait to see if they would come on at some point. Leave that on a second, Linda. But I do wait. I ask once, and then I wait, and I might ask again a year later, and then I just wait for them. So, but the thing of it is, especially after watching that, I don't know that I could qualify to interview Dr. Travis Taylor, because I would feel like an idiot. The man's brain is working on a different level. It's like Eric Bard. But Eric is very, very good, and that's why I call him Professor Bard, because he's very good at bringing it down to a level I can understand when he's explaining things to us. But and so does Dr. Taylor. But I mean, the things that were going back, and I haven't even finished it between AJ and Travis. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what these guys are really talking about.
Yeah.
You're not alone.
Good. Thank you. I don't feel so bad. Mandy, thank you so much. I sincerely appreciate how the Skinwalker Ranch family gathers here together. Definitely heartwarming. Thank you, Mandy. I appreciate that support so very much. It really helps to keep the show going. Thank you. So, but yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of good stuff, and you know what? It's getting more and more. I guess there was another dump of UFO. I will get to the show here in just a second, folks. Sorry, but another dump of UFO stuff from the government, and I hear there's more, and it's a little bit better this time. Things are getting crazy, folks. Hold on to your hats. We're gonna have some more MUFON stuff coming up. So, all right, let's get on with the. I think Eric said he was really busy. He's doing something at his. Well, he's always doing something.
He's always creating amazing tools in the background.
Yes, exactly. Yes, that's for sure. Yeah, he's working, so he can't really join us. But all right, but he'll be there.
A rumpf.
Right. All right. So let's get started with, shall we? The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch, Season 7, Episode number 13, Heating Up was the name of this one. And it was another great episode. Starts off with the folks from Red Devil Pyro showing up. There's James and or Kevin and his son James. Kevin James, isn't there an actor by that? Anyway, and so they're out there to do some pyrotechnics, which is really cool. Making those smoke rings. They also have John and his team from Flug out, and I wasn't really sure. You know, they talked about high-speed cameras and all this kind of stuff, and I thought, what exactly are they? You know, I mean, they've had some high-speed cameras on site, but not like this. This was really cool. The idea for this first experiment, and as Mike was saying, they can actually do a show with all of them individually, and they crammed in a couple of them last night, actually 3, well, 2.5. And the idea behind this one is to take the tubes that they use to do the explosions and create these smoke rings are just inside the barrier, the bubble boundary on the south side there. I believe it was on the south side looking north. And so they're just inside the bubble boundary. And they wanted to see how the bubble might affect the smoke rings as they're being formed, and then let them travel up and see what happens. So that was the idea behind it. You have the cameras are set up. Now, the folks from Flug had 48 cameras set up in a semicircle, firing all at the same time, 2-second videos. And so you get a playback from different perspectives on the moment. Now, it's called bullet time. These kind of things that, you know, I wonder how, you know, they make all this kind of stuff work, but it's really, really, do you have any more information, either one of you guys, to share on that kind of, you know, how
I'm sure Pete can. It's bullet time was, I think, coined for the movie The Matrix. That was the first time they used it, as far as I know.
It's photogrammetry.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's not a special effect. It's a camera effect.
No, it's what's innovative about it. It's not new. It's been around a long time, The Matrix.
Yep.
But the difference is you have multiple cameras all aimed at the same thing, and they all fire at the same time. So assuming you have the overlap and the side lap correct, you get what we saw, which is a 3D image of an explosion. I mean, it's super cool, but at the end of the day, it's photogrammetry, which I know just about everybody tuned in here tonight has heard before and is familiar with.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And I have to ask this question of the chat real quick. Everybody that's in the chat, including you guys, Pete and Mike, and Eric also. When they talked about bringing out 48 cameras, how many of you went, "Oh yeah, they're all going to work"? How many?
Does anybody warn them that all their hard work is likely going to get trounced on by the Skinwalker? I mean, do you let them know, or do you just throw them straight into the fire? That, hey, if something goes wrong, just let us know. That's normal. Just so you know, it happens to everybody. It's okay. Just let us know when something goes wrong, or just throw them to the wolves, dire wolves. Throw them to the dire wolves.
We have a pool. Are you kidding?
Those side bets. What's the over/under on how long it'll take?
Yeah, exactly. Oh my
But
God.
yeah, so many moving parts, all those batteries, all that infrastructure, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. This is going to be great. Just watch this.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what I was thinking too. I mean, here you've got, and I'll zoom in on this a little bit here. You see this array right here of all of these cameras all the way around this. I guess it's like a fifth of a circle. I don't know, a third, a fifth.
120 degrees.
120 degrees. Yes.
Yeah.
And so there's your cameras set up. Oh, I'm sorry. It was on the western bubble boundary. I said the southern. On the western bubble boundary over there. And then you see these tubes over here. That's where they're going to be shooting off the pyro over here. Some great stuff getting ready to happen. And I do have a little clip that I'll show you too of here in just a little bit. But I mean, look at these. Look at all the wires and batteries. And like Pete said, there's so much that could go awry here. I mean,
and each one has to be focused. The field of view has to be very precise or the photogrammetry doesn't work. So wow, there's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, for sure. I couldn't believe it when I saw this. I was like, wow, they're going to have some fun with these. And I'm honestly, I'm very happy that they were able to get 36 of them going, because I thought it would be a lot less than that. So 36 was great. And Travis made the call. Well, you got 36. Can you go with that? Let's go with that. All right, let's get her done. Now, as far as the explosions were concerned, you see them pouring all kinds of fuel, liquid fuel into these tubes, these steel tubes, and also these powder, that he's got in these things here, measured out. And you heard them say later on, and we'll get into this a little deeper as we go along here, but you heard them say about how every single one is measured exactly the same. And you see them pouring it into these little bottles here so they get the right measurement in each one. So it's brought down to that much of a science on these things. So that's really cool. There's the tubes, the steel tubes that they shoot these off from. There they are laying them down, and you can see some of the fuel on the ground there in those cans getting ready to happen. And also they put up this little transmitter on one of the poles. This is one of the poles that marks the bubble boundary in a semicircle going around there. And they wanted to transmit at 1.2 gigahertz on the inside or at the bubble boundary, and then see what effect it would have, on the inside and the outside. So we'll talk about that a little bit more as we go along as well.
Are all those posts that tall, or is that one taller than normal? I thought we saw them put those in and some weren't that tall. But
all I remember is Pete. Where's Pete? He can reach.
Pete, we got a job for you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Come here.
Is that a survey stick there? A GPS?
Good eye. Yeah, it's an RTK GPS receiver.
Nice. Yeah, I saw you walking around with that quite a bit in there, and I thought that's got to be a GPS unit there. So, yeah. So anyway, they're putting this up there, and they want to see its effect inside and outside of the bubble, this 1.2 gigahertz signal. Here it is shown here. So Eric is in the command center, which is inside the bubble inside the bubble. And then of course they're transmitting just Travis is outside and they're transmitting right at the bubble because you know that those posts are marking the bubble boundary. So it's right there to see what's going on. And then Eric is working his magic over in the command center, getting everything
Great
ready.
action shot for Eric.
Yes, right there. Yeah. Communicating on there. And he says he sees the 1.2 gigahertz signal being transmitted by Travis. And he sees it very well there. Cosplay. I was genuinely excited and hopeful going into this experiment. I love any experiment that changes our terms of engagement with time. Indeed. So, all right. Here it is again. Look at those cameras. I grabbed this shot. I was almost going to use this for tonight's thumbnail, but I had not this time, Michelle. Yeah, I didn't get the befuddled face. Not from him anyway. I got one from somebody else. Wait till you see this later on. But and this is the high-speed cameras that they have there at the ranch, and you see Thomas there getting that thing all set up, doing its thing, and then we get our first explosion. Now, this first one, this was what, and take this for what you will, folks. I mean, when I watched this, I was in exact agreement with Travis Taylor on this when he gave it explanation. They fire off this very first one. There's no wind. It goes up there and it forms a almost perfect smoke ring as it ascends and gets larger as it goes up. It's keeping it pretty even all the way around like it's designed to do, and make its way up. Overhead shot looking down, you can see it's a little heavier on one side, but again, we have to assume that these are all in line with, when you go through editing at Prometheus, sometimes they mix up frames a little bit, or pictures and things, but it looks pretty good there. But look at that smoke ring. I mean, it was like perfect.
Yep.
That's how it's designed to work, just like that. And if every one of them went that way, you would think, wow, well, there's certainly no effect here at the bubble, huh? Everything is not working, or, it's working the way it's supposed to, so something's wrong. Well, we got a second explosion. This one, however, as it was going up, it didn't really form very well until it got up to a certain height, and then it started to take shape like it was supposed to. And Eric calls out to say that the 1.2 gigahertz signal that he is receiving was getting stronger, more prominent than it was before. Again, we don't know why that would happen, but it did.
Yeah, that shouldn't.
Shouldn't
happen.
It shouldn't happen. It should be steady, right? Okay, so
if it's only coming from their transmitter, it should be consistent,
constant. If anything, the batteries run down, it goes shoop, and you got nothing. Yeah. But I mean, it should not. It should not get stronger by any means.
Right.
And so he calls over to. Are they pretty careful flying the drones for overhead shots to minimize deformation? Pete would probably know that.
Yeah, it's a good question, right? If I'm reading into that, would rotor wash, screw up an otherwise perfectly smoke ring? The filming drone that production uses is about this big. So good question, but not an issue.
Yeah. I kind of thought the same thing when they were having that overhead shot. I thought, man, would that mess it up? But yeah. Being so small.
And what a cool shot.
Oh. Yeah, it was a pretty cool shot.
Oh.
Yeah. And here it is here. This is the looking down, shot of it. The fireball, of course, and then looking down at the smoke ring right there. And then like I said, as it got up there, it started forming much, much better. And then that 1.2 gigahertz signal getting stronger. Eric calls over to Travis to let him know this. And here's the first thing I know. What did you notice first about this shot right here?
There's
What's
no
missing?
rockets.
No
There's no rockets. Did he
There's no rockets in the back
forget
of the Jeep.
them? What? I think that's the first time that Jeep's not had rockets in it.
I knew you would pick that up, Mike, right away.
Yes.
No rockets in there. So
strange.
Yeah, I know, right? Unless he laid them down on the back seat or something. But so Travis is like, well, let me go check my receivers that I got going on over here, my spectrum analyzer, just to make sure. So he walks over to the spectrum analyzer and he has zero signal. He cannot see the 1.2 gigahertz signal at all. Nothing. You can see there, nothing. And what did he say he was? I got it written down in my notes here. He was
like
only
70 feet.
70 feet away from the transmitter. That's omnidirectional, by the way. It wasn't pointing at the command center. It was omnidirectional. It points,
Right.
It just comes out like an umbrella.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Everywhere, all at the same time. So why wasn't it?
Can't make this stuff up, folks.
Like all of the signal that would have gone his direction instead was being reflected towards Eric's direction, which shouldn't happen. But
should not happen. Yeah, by looking at the antenna on the top of that little transmitter, just to when I was a young, I'll get back to this in a second. When I was in my teens, I used to be very big into citizen band radio, CB radios, and I started off with just a regular antenna that was omnidirectional, and then later on I moved to a 3-element beam antenna, in which case now that's directional. And so I could turn it to wherever I wanted to send whoever I happened to be talking to. I could bring it around with a rotor and point it in the direction I wanted and get a lot further because you're taking the energy and you're sending it in one direction instead of everywhere at once. So I got to learn about that kind of thing. So this would be indication of even if it was directional, you'd still pick up a little bit 70 feet away, probably from the antenna or from the transmitter, but not in this case. He had nothing, zero. How is that possible?
it's not.
It's
Skinwalker Ranch.
It's really not possible. JH asks, does the production drone ever fail like the other drones do? Pete, what do you think? Does that ever happen?
Yes.
And unfortunately, they can't show us.
Yes, that's
no.
true. They will not show us.
They don't break the
There
fourth
are
wall.
insurance underwriters and lawyers and
Yeah.
oh god, yeah,
And ninja lawyers.
Mm-hmm. Ninja lawyers,
the worst kind.
Yes.
the ones that sneak up on you.
Never see them coming.
And
You
slap
never
you.
see them coming.
That NDA violation. Breaker 19. Yeah, that's there's David Henderson. Thank you. Yes. So so it is why it didn't pick it up. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense at all. 70 feet away, folks. This is, and I've said this before, but if we needed any more confirmation that the bubble boundary is indeed there, a makeup of what it is, we just do not know, but something that can prevent radio transmission from passing through sometimes when it wants to.
But like you said, Travis pointed this out, it seemed like, and I know correlation is not causation, but seemed like it didn't show up until after the first fireball was detonated.
Yep.
Like shields up, they're back.
Yeah. Which we get back to the next series of the shots that go off. Again, the thing happens, the explosion happens. The ring is all discombobulated as it starts to rise. But then when it gets to a certain level, it starts to form the smoke ring that it's supposed to do. Now, Thomas, and I know how many people out here in the chat that were watching the show last night did the same thing that I did, which is say exactly what Thomas said during the episode, that the curvature of the bubble, once that smoke ring would rise high enough, it is now outside of the bubble boundary, providing that it is in fact a dome or a circular dome, so that going straight up at some point you'd be outside, and then it forms the circle that it's supposed to, the smoke ring that it's supposed to form.
And it's repeatable.
Apparently. And it repeats 3 more times. Thank you. Yes.
And if you say, I mean, forgive me, you think about that, the amount of energy released by one of these explosions. This isn't something that would start and stop. I mean, I'm way outside of my lane here. We need Eric or Travis, but that just doesn't make any sense from a thermographic, point of view. Because, if it's a smoke ring, that's an atmospheric thing going on, physics, temperature, very hot air, a lot of energy rising, and then it stops and then it starts again. That does not compute.
No. And I tried to think about, I was thinking about just that as I was watching this last night and again today, thinking about how it affects electronics, how it affects, we've talked about a GPR, GPS, all the electronics, and we did see it affect smoke when they were blowing the smoke with the machine in the back of the truck as they were, entering and getting around the bubble boundary. We did see it affect smoke, but my brain trying to figure out why would it affect smoke? How? Smoke is not an electronic thing. Smoke is basically particles and made up of, carbon or whatever. I don't know. I mean, what's in smoke? But how does it affect that as well as electronics and everything else? I mean, it just, I can't wrap my brain around that. I really can't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it kind of looked like, as, and we've seen this year with the smoke guns that they used, that it does kind of affect the bubble, kind of slowed it down. So with that in mind, you almost kind of wonder if one edge of the bubble drags against the surface of the bubble, if there is a surface, or the region of the bubble, wherever that may be, and slows that one section down. That'll disrupt the whole thing and kind of curl it in. I think Eric had a picture in the review of it where it kind of had 2 curled down sections, which means something dropped down in the middle in between there and pulled that smoke down, or as it was going up, didn't let it ascend with the rest and disrupted the fluid dynamics that were going on there.
That's the word I was trying to remember. Computational fluid dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
The CFD of what happened in this episode just does not compute. And sorry if I'm geeking, but y'all listening, just Google CFD, computational fluid dynamics.
Yeah.
It's just what?
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to behave in a certain way. You can model it.
Yep.
And unless it's on Skinwalker Ranch at the bubble boundary.
Right.
And then it's not going to play by the rules.
Not going to play by the rules. I like some of the chat here. Michael Payton said, it's a no smoking bubble. Okay. There you go. An invisible fan blowing. Invisible fan? Yeah. How about it's using some spray paint? T.S. Reynolds said, how about using spray paint? Well, they have used some powders and different powders dropped in and stuff. So, but yeah, so there you go. I mean, A lot of things confused me about this ranch, but the reforming ring just did me in. Yeah, me too. Yeah, Angie, me too. How does it reform after it's outside of the bubble
Yeah.
boundary? I, I don't know.
No. No, 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 no,
No,
no.
right. So they continued on, and here's another explosion that went off, and that one kind of dissipated pretty quickly. Um, but it did start to form a ring as it went up. It's as miraculous as that is. It got up there. And here's one of the shots from the camera. And we'll get into this in a minute. I have a little video showing some of this. It's really cool. But that's one of the shots from the bullet cams or the bullet time. The 36 cameras that were working. That's one of the shots there. Here's a bunch of them from different angles. You can see they're all they're pretty much all pointing exactly in the same place, but some of them are a little, because of their angle, you can see different stuff. Didn't the powder drop from the plane experiment flop? Things went wrong and the plane turned back. Yeah.
And I think there was like chalk powder in the big rocket that exploded right off the launch pad. The really big one.
Oh, the really big one. Yeah.
We never got to see all the stuff that was inside.
The one that Brandon pushed the button on.
Yep. And it blew up. Out the side.
Pardon me. You guys are touching on something that is such a source of huge relief for me, because the whole bubble thing began with, some really wacky terrestrial laser scan data.
Mm-hmm.
And, we had some really intense conversations about, well, come on, one sensor, is it the hardware? Is it the software? Is it the firmware? We have these conversations. We do. It's why I'm still here, because if we didn't, I'd be like, I'm going to go chase Peter Pan on a different show, whatever it is. The point is that smoke, dropping things from aircraft, the bottles from a week or two ago, the bubble just won't go away. And so again, for me, sort of selfishly, it's like this huge sense of relief, because for the longest time, I've been sweating bullets like, guys, we're hanging on one sensor type here, one data type here, and people are getting really excited about this. Well, for all of us who are keeping score, the point is I sleep much better at night lately.
I bet. Yeah, because you're vindicated. I mean, we've seen the bubble boundary in multiple types of data now.
Yeah,
multiple types.
And I'm grateful that the team is invested in that, because if they hadn't, I'd be hanging out on a limb.
What the hell did Pete do wrong?
Exactly.
Yeah, right. Right.
Yeah. Well, you actually had that lady, I can't think of her name, but she came out from Faro.
Irene. Yeah.
Irene. Yeah. And she got the same results you did. So
thank you, Irene.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Irene, for coming out and backing me up on that. But yeah. I don't know. Really cool stuff. All right. So we have and that's what I think it was Michelle had said. These new data points about the bubble are proving Pete isn't crazy. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Yes.
At least not crazy about that.
Yeah. Well, yes. Yeah. In this respect, yes.
Believe me, you can't work on this place for this long and not consider the state of your own sanity on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So,
I can only imagine. Yeah. Right. Crazy like a fox. I mean, crazy enough to stand on a runner of a helicopter with a harness on, hanging out of the thing. Yeah. Now that is crazy. But when it comes to this, not crazy. So
just doing my job, Jeff. Just doing my job.
But look at these pictures. I mean, these are awesome pictures. These are again taken by the cameras that are set up in the semicircle. But now, when they go the next day and they start to look at the analysis of just this last experiment, this is when we begin to see from the command center. I've got this little video. I'm going to show this real quick. This is just what they had shown, and I had to capture this on a video because it's just too stunning otherwise to not do it this way. And it is this right here. So watch this real quick. It's just showing that. Look at that.
Oh,
That's amazing.
Isn't that awesome?
photogrammetry.
I mean,
So
that
cool.
is awesome.
Not AI, not a
Nope.
special effect.
No.
Nope.
That's camera pictures.
Yeah, those
Yep.
are camera pictures.
Yep.
Yeah, that's just nuts. So now when Eric was playing this back from, and I caught him, he's playing it back for everybody and goes, "Tell me what you see. What do you see here?" And nobody was getting it at first. So he was, and I'm like, okay, there's something in this picture that he wants us to see that
Yeah.
we're not seeing. And sure enough, he ended up having to show us because nobody really saw it until the end. This is that shot where you were talking about with the fangs, like the two, and I'm going to get my pointer going here. These right here.
Yeah.
Is this what you were referring
Yep.
to, Mike? Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like somebody swatted that one section down, and it disrupted the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it did. Now, what do you see in that picture? We know now, those of us that watched the episode, we have a good idea of what they were looking at as it passed through the frame of view by the different cameras. And that is it right there. This was, I don't know what to make of it. I mean, initially when you see this right here, you think what, and they have explained this very well, at least in the Insider, when they do the wrap up on Thursday nights of the episode, and they talk about, I know I'm not supposed to share stuff from the Insider group, but I will say this, that they always go to, is it a bird? Is it a bug? Is it a drone that we didn't, that we accidentally captured? Not those things, or a plane going by. So they do go through all of those things first. I don't know. I mean, you see wings on it, so you're thinking, is it a bird, or going through that they caught here? Yeah, it looks like an F-18. It does. Or as Travis had said, it looked like some sort of a alien spacecraft from the old days, the old sci-fi movies. Here it is again. It's blurry, of course, because it's moving so daggone fast. But there it is again. And if you think about it, this was one of the things that we talked about with Pete last week, was looking at the things that were captured, what you guys saw from the helicopter that was tumbling, in this weird tumbling way, and catching a glimpse of light. Yeah, there was another one a few seasons back. But you look at that, and they are similar. Now, we didn't see the wings looking at this thing, but it was tumbling. It was hard to catch that. But yes, wings not flapping. Good point. And I did. I mean, I took this clip, and I do have it as well. But I took this clip and I played it back and forth a few times because I really wanted to get a good look at this. And as much as I could tell, you do not see any wing flap at all on this thing. So,
And it does not look like the production drone at all.
mhm. Yep. So, yeah, so we'll return to that in just a little bit because I've got a little bit of video on that as well.
Do you want me to show the drawing
yes,
I did on
yeah.
that?
Yes, please.
So one of the things that that I looked at was, as Eric was clicking through those pictures, you could tell that the smoke, the picture of the smoke didn't change. So those were all the same pictures. And yet that object moved through the picture frame. So it wasn't stationary in the picture frame. There, I've got it shared now, Jeff. I don't know if you want to add it. So I'm really good at drawing straight lines, and sometimes I even do curves as long as I have AutoCAD. So I knew the arc they said was 120 degrees. We knew that there were 48 cameras, so I put those in, and then I deleted 12. If every camera is focused on this as the fireball tube, and you're looking, this is a top-down view, and this angle here is sort of the field of view, and that's just a rough estimate of what the camera would see, and it's pointed directly dead center at the mortar. If the object was way out here, or if the object was in here, you can go through and see if it's changing, and where would it go. And so if you move through and look at where the different camera angles would be, you notice on that first one, in this field of view for this camera, it's over on the right side. And if you go to another camera, say in the middle, and it's close, it's still on the right side. And if you go to the end camera, it's still on the right side. So if it's within the radius of here to the mortar, it's not going to move very much because it's close. But if you go back and then look at this one, in this one, it's on the right-hand side of this camera picture. That's the view that you would see. And then you go to the center one, it's kind of directly behind where the mortar would be. And then you go to the far end one, that's on the left side of the picture frame, if that's the picture frame right there. So that is what it did. So at the very least, we can determine from the geometry alone that it had to be further away than the mortar.
Yep.
And as Pete said, the focal length has to be very specific to the distance of where the actual mortar is, so that it gets that in the highest resolution. So one thing to check off is that it can't be something small in between the cameras and the mortar. Had to be further away, so it was bigger to be seen. What it was, it's harder to say.
Yeah. But knowing that it's not a bug. I mean, it's not a bug, and doubtful that it's a bird. Go ahead, Pete.
Am I the only one who just loves when Mike leans in forensically?
Not the only one.
That is just badass, my friend.
Can only do so much, but I try.
And you try very well.
Because I know what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to stand on the skid of a helicopter. Are you nuts?
Oh.
That's not my. You want geometry? Okay, I'm with you. I'll be there.
Yeah, but I would argue what you just did has more value than what I just did. That's great.
It's all data. It's all data.
Yeah,
Eric loves data.
Yep. Yes, he does. Yep. See, there you go. Yeah. And that's so awesome. And that's why I pay him the big bucks to be on the show.
Give it up for Mike, y'all. Come on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good stuff. So, yeah. So, so the question is, whoops. I gotta.
Could have kind of been that shape, had.
Yeah, I know. That's what scares me.
And...
Could it be those? So, so what is this thing? Don't know. Now, let's shift gears for just a minute. We'll get back to that. A lot of people are clapping for you. Mike rocks. Mike is the best. Yes, absolutely. See, that's why I love having him part of the podcast. All right. So here, going to the top of the mesa up here, I grabbed this shot because they showed it, and then I was like, okay, they got some really big graves going on down there. I don't know when this, and again, Prometheus loves to just grab old shots from different things. We don't know. I don't know if this is current
Spoils.
or
Yeah, from
spoil
one of the
piles.
digs.
Yeah, spoil piles. But I thought it was cool. I'm like, man, those are really interesting down there. I'm always looking for all this weird stuff in the background.
And there's some corroborating evidence publicly on Google Earth for those interested.
Ah, all right. There you go. Now we jump over to the top of the mesa and we get to see finally Dr. Jan Francke show up, international GPR expert. This man is way more than a GPR expert. Let me tell you. And he, if anybody, well, I won't get into that right now. Brian, we had a little discussion, he and I, about the SAR technology, the synthetic, what is it?
Aperture radar.
Aperture radar. Yeah. That the guy said, oh, look, there's this mega structure underneath the Pyramid of Giza. This huge thing goes down, hundreds of feet down. It's this main thing. And he's like, ain't no way. Well, yeah. He and I talked about it several times. And then we just posted he sent it to me actually first. that data review that's been retracted, the peer review. So yeah, the SAR doesn't work the way that it was said to be working. Anyway, move on. Yeah, this man, like Pete, and Mike, quite honestly, brains that think on different levels, quite honestly, and Eric Bard. So there we go. Now he's looking again. We heard this come up a couple of episodes ago where when Jan was out there before, and they said, well, hey, we've got these big 4-foot round holes that we would love to be able to, put something to get some GPR down there. And so they said, well, you'll be back. Well, there he is. He's back. And he's trying to, again, get another look at this anomaly that's underneath the mesa that he first spotted with the snake GPR units that was dragged back and forth by Caleb Bench and him and Pete and Jan. So here's the holes that they were dragging. They talked about it, and really all that ever came from these holes was a few pieces of metal that they found that was down there, and we've seen that come up on the show already. And of course, this is the ceramics that was in the. Pay the man. All right, I got to send that to you now, Mike. All right, thank you, Craig. Still in Seattle. Craig hangs out with us in Discord on Tuesday nights, but last night he was kind of busy. But anyway, all right, so we got some ceramics in there, the Type A ceramics. Now, this was the deal that we were going to lower this. Now, this is one of those units where they, roll it on the ground right there. There you see it going into the hole. Look at the size of that, line that's attached to it, tied off in several places. But I as much as this was awesome to watch, that guy looking down the hole right there.
I'm like, where's Caleb? But anytime they have something heavy, they stick it on Caleb's back. I mean, right. Here he is struggling with that little itty bitty paracord, which isn't hard. I mean, it's not easy to when it's got tension on it, can cut, your hands.
Yeah.
And he was sweating by the end.
Oh, he was. No doubt.
Lowering it down and hauling it back up.
Yeah. Multiple times.
Yeah. He's a trooper.
We were talking about that. Go ahead.
If this isn't painfully obvious, if you fall in that hole, if you lose your footing, because that sled, I'm guessing, weighs between 50 and 80 pounds, and I hate to think what the price tag on it is.
Oh, that's what I was thinking.
But if you lose your footing and you go in that hole, you're dead. Yep. You ain't coming out. No exaggeration. We were freaking out. Once the holes were done and we have to cover these up, this is
Yeah.
a serious hazard and yada, yada, yada. And there's, Tom, lowering this piece of gear. And, I remember having this instinct to want to have his belt on his backside in my hand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Standing at the precipice of a 30+ foot drop should probably have fall protection on.
Oh my gosh. I was
scared the hell out of me.
I felt so much for the guy because
Yeah.
I mean, even the strain of doing that, multiple times had to be beyond. I don't know. Anyway,
He's in good shape though, so
yeah.
he handled it. He handled it well.
He
Whereas
did.
Caleb's not just a pretty face. He was like, "No, Tom can do this one.
Yeah.
Cool."
I mean, have you seen Caleb's what is it, Instagram videos he's been doing lately with the
Exactly.
the weightlifting and stuff? It's like,
Yeah, he's
guys-
bench pressing pickup trucks. Yeah, it's like,
yeah. Yes, exactly. I mean, oh my gosh. Anyway, so but we did get this, and let me bring the picture back up. We did get this, not a reflection of Jan, but the thing that he's pointing at right here, we can barely see. Now, this is not post-processing. This is pre-processing.
not the detailed data. This is a snapshot or a low resolution so that he can kind of see what's going on while he's doing it.
Right.
It's not the real deal.
Right. Now they said about 20 feet down, 20 to 25 feet down. Now they did the east, they went down. Now remember, this unit is designed to look at what's directly below the wheels. And so they put it in the first time and they had it facing the bottom of it facing the east. Then they pulled it back up and now they rotated a little bit and had it go down so the bottom is facing the south. This is going to give them, because remember, when they put that rope one down a hole and they come up with an anomaly, they can tell how far from the hole it is, but they can't tell in which direction it is. With this one, they can, because it's looking downward or toward the wheels, bottom of the unit. So 25 feet down, right there. Now, I can't wait to see the post-processing of this, and hopefully we're going to see it next week. It'll be hopefully one of the things that is brought up in the conference room while they're all talking.
It better be.
It better.
I don't want to wait a whole season.
Yeah.
Right. Prometheus, are you listening?
Yeah, don't make us wait until next year, because I will find a way to get it out of Jan when he's on the show next week. No, he won't tell me. I know he wouldn't do that, but yeah. But anyway, so we'll get to see what this is. But at least now, with that, they know it's south, on the south side of the hole, 25 feet down. Can you figure how far where they're going to be digging next year? Are they going to drill another hole this in season 8? Sure hope so. They have a target. They have something to look for. All right. Yeah, look at the sweat on this poor guy. I mean, yeah. He's got a t-shirt on too, so he's
still
really
smiling.
Yeah, he's still smiling even after all that work. Now I got to show this real quick, because this was something, as you know, I'm always looking in the background trying to see stuff. And this was I saw, and maybe many of you watching here tonight saw it as well. This is back to that same video. Unfortunately, I got to go through I'll try to skip through the first part of it here because it's showing that fireball. But let me get to the end of which is so awesome anyway, right here. All right. Now, this was the scene there on top of the mesa when they were talking to Pete about some different stuff. And let me know what you see over over Jan's. Whoops. Oh, that's the target. That's the UAP flying by. Let's get over here. I thought I had it right there. I must be. Oh, here it is here. Now, Jan is talking, and this was one of the guys sent me an email that watches the show, Steve. And thank you, Steve, for sending this in to me. He goes by Skyhawk88. Now, Steve sent this over to me and said, "Hey, did you happen to see something move over Jan's left shoulder?" And yep, there's Steve right there, Skyhawk88. So watch right in this area over his shoulder as he. Let me back this up just a smidge here. All right, now watch over his left shoulder. I slow it down on one of them, and I saw it too. You see that little movement there?
What?
Now, something was moving on the hillside behind him. I have no idea what a little
critter
animal,
of some kind.
a little critter of some sort, probably
ground squirrel, lizard,
something. Yeah, there's definitely lizards out there, but you see it moving there on the.
God, that is, you guys don't miss a thing.
A squirrel.
I'm telling
That's
you.
astonishing.
Yeah.
So
all about the slow-mo.
Yes.
There are a bunch of like critters up there, rodents. That'd be my guess, but
Yeah.
Mine
wow.
too.
That was a good catch.
Yeah. But I saw it on the video. I saw movement right there. And then I got this email from Steve, and I thought, oh, thank you, Steve, because I don't catch them all. So I appreciate when somebody emails me, and my email address is down below in the description. So if you don't like the show, you can always email me and tell me how much you hate it. But he sent that to me, and he said, hey, did you notice this? And I appreciate that stuff very much. So, because I might have missed it. This one I didn't, but I might have missed it. All right. So let's move along, shall we? Oh, there was another picture, and it's this one here of that's the snake GPR that Caleb is holding there in his hands. That was also created and developed and put together by Jan Francke. That maybe they used it some more while they were up there. Don't know. They didn't show anything on that except for him standing there holding it. So I'd love to see him do another follow-up of the original, dragging it back and forth across the top of the mesa to see what the results come back a second time. I'd love to see that happen. So when I saw that, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, they're going to do it. We're going to see that again. That would be really cool. So, all right, let's move on to the next segment. Now, the next experiment that they're doing coming this next evening, they bring out the guys from Red Devil Pyro to come out, and they're going to do some night blasts. They also have Adam Scott and the folks from New Salt Laser come out. Awesome stuff to see the lasers, combining the lasers with the blast from the canisters. That's going to be some cool stuff. Couldn't wait. I thought, man, this is going to be a good time here. We're going to see some interesting things. You see how they have them laid out here, kind of a little two pattern. Here's that. Remember that little X where they marked that GPS location on the ground right there, and then you got two lasers on, in all 4 points around it, which is really cool right there. And then what they're going to try to do is shoot the lasers up through the blob and through the electromagnetic zone now that zone is 750 to 1,000 feet, somewhere in that range above the triangle. And then you have the blob, which is about 30 feet above. They're going to be shooting the fireball rings and also the lasers up through this zone to see what happens. And you see, Eric come walking in. And he's got some stuff in his hands there. And I was wondering, okay, he's dust. I mean, there's all kinds of dust around all the equipment. You see him wrapping up at the end of the night and dust on top of everything that's out there, every bit of their equipment and stuff. But no, instead he is, climbing up on a tower. And what's he doing? Oh, he's cleaning. I think he put up a new camera or something, and he's actually cleaning it. The man will do anything for science, virtually anything for science, right?
Yep.
I almost used that for the thumbnail, but I thought, no, I'll just.
That's awesome. They're not going to clean themselves. Somebody's got to get up there.
They're not going to clean themselves. So, we'll find out if he ever wants to come on the podcast ever again after I do this. But I didn't get his befuddled face this time.
But that just goes to show you that, when before insiders and, you just kind of assume shows like this, well, these guys, they probably have like a staff and, they have people that do things like this. And then when I, first joined Insider, started to learn what all was going on and all the things that all of guys do, you're like, oh my God, they're really just out there by themselves and they have to climb towers to wipe cameras, for God's sakes. I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yep,
He
just
has
them.
to carry his own equipment.
Yeah.
Well, he's got Caleb sometimes, but I mean, yeah.
See, and I'm like the clingy, naggy mother-in-law. I'm like, Eric, would you please wear a harness? Could you wear a harness?
Yeah.
Maybe? No, I got this.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you get up there and you find a nest of murder hornets.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll remember me.
Yeah. The Windex only goes so far.
Right.
Yeah, and he's still carrying the Windex in a hand. He's hanging on there.
Exactly.
He's wiping the lens off. He's got Windex. He's got, he's like Pete in that respect that, just fearless. I mean, whatever it takes to get the science.
All in the name of science. Yep.
All in the name of science.
No,
Exactly.
the difference is I'm strapped in. I'm safe.
Safe outside the helicopter. Yeah.
Is that 30-foot tower?
Yeah. Yeah. He's up there a long ways.
Yep. Yeah, he really is up there a long ways. Okay, so they're getting ready for the night experiment. Wow, that wouldn't even, what did it say? Wow, not even a beanbag at the
Yeah.
tower.
Yeah.
Something to catch his fall, right? Night shot there as they're getting ready to start the night's experiment. They're going to be doing, remember, the new salt lasers and the fire explosions. What do you actually call what are those called, actually? I mean, detonations, fuel detonations. I thought they had a name and I missed it. Maybe somebody in the chat remembers.
Fuel mines.
Fuel mines. Yes.
Fuel mines.
That's right. Thank you. I got to make sure I call it. And boom, there goes the first one. Look at that. I can't imagine. Everybody's eyes are all tuned for night vision.
It's gonna be blinding.
And then poof, this goes off, and it's just got it. Look at that. Look at that fireball. I mean, it's
lights up the entire ranch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can see the command center over there. Even, but big fireball, and it begins to form a smoke ring, but doesn't quite get there. Not the way it's designed to do. So, yeah, but it was really cool as it passed through the laser lights. Oh, I see. I can't. Oh, there he is. I can't believe that's on there. You guys do realize I did a lot of this stuff alone.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. We do realize that. Maybe not everybody does, but yes, many of us do realize that. And you're still doing it. You're still at it. So dedicated to the job.
He works without a net.
Did anyone see that quick flash of light to the right of the lasers right after they turned on the first time?
I thought I saw something too. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. And I was assuming it was one of the production drones, but it may not have been. I don't know. Oh, look who's here. Hey, Eric, what's going on?
There he is.
All right. I'm officially provoked.
Excellent. I knew we'd get him. I knew it.
If I just
The picture did it.
Pete. You make me sound like I'm reckless.
Oh, we know you're not. So
dedicated. That's what it is. Dedication.
Yeah, so my apologies.
That was really cool, though. You were gripping on with one arm, holding yourself on there with a spray bottle of Windex.
Right. So don't drop the Windex for
God's don't drop that Windex for now.
Priorities, guys.
Yeah.
You know what? And I think that's the second time that I've actually got a shot of you climbed up to the top. That's a 30-foot tower, right? So Yeah.
Ish, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, the the better experience is on the towers that are just right on the very edge of the mesa, right on the ridge line.
Oh,
Yeah, you
God.
get up. Yeah, actually, for me, it's a little more dicey even than just being up in the helicopter with the doors open. It's
Yeah.
We've seen
but
you do
I
that
mean,
too.
but to your point, I mean, you make a really good point. Keeping all that stuff working is it's a year-round job.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we've all had a chance to go patch wires at the tops of towers and clean off pieces of equipment. I recognized in that shot, I know exactly what I was walking back with. Now, interestingly, one of those pieces of equipment wasn't apparently featured. It's an interesting device. I guess we'll have to wait and see if we see it in any future episodes. It was a special device that we were using out there. Never used it before.
Oh, you mean
The
this
butterball turkey.
Okay, you see that rectangular thing in my I guess that would be my left hand. Yeah, that thing there. I don't think, to my understanding, that none of the data coming out of that was put into this this year's work.
Nope.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get to see or hear about that at some point. But yeah.
Well, I sure hope so.
Yeah. Anytime you guys deploy new technology or new equipment out there, I want to know what the results of that were. Believe me, I am excited. And so are about I don't know, a couple million other people that watch the show, I would think.
Well, you guys talk about data, and rightly so. And I've got a lot of it on my screens, and we are. Pete will tell you, I'm still working on some of his data deliverables from years ago.
Wow.
Bringing it to life and going over it in light of more recent measurements. It's really a compounding effort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking. I'm really trying to see you got some fascinating looking screens around you there, and I was just
yes.
Boy, I wish I could see those closer. I know that I'm so fascinated by your array of different camera views and different things you have running all at the same time. Massive processors going on in that place.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
You must have a heck of an air conditioning system to keep all those processors cool.
Yeah, well, sometimes I'm breaking a sweat here at the table.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so as this, go ahead. I'm sorry. Were you going to say something else? Oh,
no.
Okay. So as this experiment was going on, we seen those explosions go off, the nighttime ones, and I don't think even one of them went the way they were supposed to go. I mean, they all did their explosion. The fireball went up, but none of them, not one of them that we saw on the show last night, ever formed the smoke ring that it was supposed to form as it rose up through and beyond the new salt lasers, the light that was being projected by the lasers. So, it left me wondering that, we saw the one that was happening at the bubble boundary, and as it went up and it got outside of it, it seems as though as it got outside of the bubble, curvature of the bubble, it did then form into a nice circle. Okay. Not the first one. The first one was perfect. And then, like Travis said, well, it seems like it just turned on because everything after that was not working the way it was designed until it got outside of the bubble boundary. Now, I think the first thing that was done here was that the laser lights were turned on. That might have activated things right there because every fireball that they did after it never formed a nice smoke ring like it was supposed to. And that was, again, and it was a relatively windless night, was it not, out there that evening? So why was it not forming the way it was supposed to? Really don't have a clue. I mean, you can see that one there. It's trying, but it just never got there. So, and every bit of that, as we talked about a minute ago, every bit of that is data. It's all data, and you're able to capture that and see what's going on with this. This amazing and there was one that actually went off that it never really even exploded the way it was supposed to. I mean, it didn't look like it was weak. It was very weak. Like the heat was being sucked right out of it. And then the smoke just never really did anything, the way it was designed to do. So it was really pretty interesting, again, in that respect. But I do have a little video to show about some of this here too. But all of a sudden, as they were getting ready to do another one, Travis had, said, well, all right, let's get this other one going and we'll get this thing fired off and we'll see what happens. I think it was the last one of the night. And as soon as he started the countdown, the lasers went off and back on. And then all the power to everything that did not have a battery, according to the way Travis described it, shut down on the tables. All the laptop or the computers and everything else shut
Monitors,
down.
Yep.
Monitors,
TVs.
everything's shut down. And you see this loss of video pop up on that screen. And then there was this little shot. I was really trying to see,
That's it.
No.
Okay, good. Now I can talk about it.
Oh, okay.
Go back.
Okay, that's it. The little box that I was carrying in my hand, I was told that
Let me bring it back.
none of the output of that was featured, but in fact, I recognize that that is a real-time LiDAR device, and it's I had attached that to the top of a PTZ camera so that I could move it around and actually see the world. It's really interesting because you're getting this real-time LiDAR, but you can also navigate inside of the scene, and so you've got multiple ways of moving around, and that's what I was doing. That's cool. I'm glad they showed that.
Yeah, it was quick. I actually captured that picture because it was when this was going off, it was flashing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
And when it was not showing this loss of video, it was showing this. And I kept trying to capture it so that I could see what is this right here. And because
it wasn't talked about.
I'm glad it made it onto the screen.
Yeah,
Good.
there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. Just think about like an automotive. You have the autonomous cars with the LiDAR systems on them.
Mm-hmm.
Pete's nodding his head. So imagine something like that. Permanently mounted, say outside somewhere, and you're able not just to see it from the perspective of the instrument, but you can actually move. You can navigate around inside the scene in real time. I love that. I love being able to get that alternative view, and not just look, straight out the bore of the instrument.
Right. Yeah, this was really, really, really interesting to me because I was really trying to see out what was it, and again, why was it showing this going back and forth like this? Now, this power outage, folks. And again, I don't understand completely and I'm going to bring us all back on here. I don't understand completely how the power systems work out there at the ranch. But
I'm beginning to think that no one does.
I'm hoping you do.
I spent a few dark nights out there.
This thing here now, and I heard Travis say, because it started with a flickering of the new salt lasers. That's how it began. They flickered off and then back on, and they went off. They didn't all go off at the same time. There was like 2 or 3 went off, and all of them back on. And I heard Caleb asking Travis, "Did you see that? What?" And he stopped the countdown and everything else. And it was after that it happened to all the stuff on the tables, all the equipment on the tables. And so Travis had made the comment that, and also the guy from New Salt, I can't remember his name. I had his picture up there a minute ago, but he had made the comment that they are on a generator. They have their own power source.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a completely different power source than what was everything on the table. Now, what in the heck takes out multiple power systems?
Shore power and a generator.
And a generator.
Yep.
enough to at least make that flicker and off and on. And it happened a couple of times that the lights went off on the lasers and back on.
You know, you raise an important question, you know, and you know, folks could be pardoned for overlooking it. You know, you normally don't think about where's the power coming from when you watch a scene with a bunch of equipment. But when you've got independently powered systems being affected in the same way, clearly it's more than just a single point of failure. You know, I see Mike's on his head. Yep. You know, one of the things that I think we don't talk about enough are some, you know, down in the weeds a bit. It's as I like to say, nuts and bolts and threads. You know, you get multiple, let's say, portable power systems all having the same issues, sometimes in a kind of rolling failure, especially out there at the Triangle. That sort of thing gets my attention. And I think I clearly got the guy's attention.
Yeah, well, we've seen a few people popping up here with, Michelle said the ranch, and then Dragon here says EMP, and Maya says EMP. So you think about an electromagnetic pulse, probably could take stuff out. Yeah, it has to be an electromagnetic problem, but why isn't it fried? Good point. I don't know.
Not to mention all of us.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your cell phones and everything else, you know, getting affected by it. Maybe they were. I don't know that anybody was looking at their cell phone at the moment to recognize that. But so I don't know anything other than an EMP. I don't know what would affect power on multiple systems, multiple separate systems like that.
Yeah, an EMP is too broad based. It would have fried all electronics, and even the production equipment would have been toast.
But in support of, you know, of those who have said EMP, you know, it's interesting. You've seen the tri-field meters that we've used, right? That little handheld devices, and I think I may have purchased 8 or 10 of them, you know, at the beginning, and we had some of them that started not working so well. So I took them back to the manufacturer, who is here in Salt Lake, and I had a good sit-down conversation in the lab as we were diagnosing what was going on with those, both with the lead engineer as well as the CEO of the company. And the CEO, who is himself an engineer, he says, "What do you do? Did this see some kind of EMP?" So it is very interesting that, you know, folks are picking up on that, you know, because there's a type of part, you'll probably know this, Mike, you know, a MOSFET. It's called a metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor. And, you know, these kinds of things are sort of delicate, and they can get fried by things like EMP. But I agree. I don't think that's quite the story when you have this, you know, it's not a catastrophic failure in these cases. It's like something's adding an extra load to the system, and the system's struggling with it. And it's more nuanced.
Yeah. And multiple systems, separate systems.
Yeah. That's important. That's important.
It is important. That's to me, that was the big, that was the big takeaway, that it was separate systems being affected by
the same way.
Something. Yeah. In the same way.
Yeah. That you could have a directed energy beam of some kind, like a microwave type thing or something, but that's pretty sophisticated. I mean, they're starting to talk about things like that for taking drones down and things like that. But boy, that it would have to be very precise to be able to hit 2 different power sources like that. I mean, like you said, Eric, the fact that it's 2 totally separate power systems, the power that's coming from the power company into the ranch, and then a totally separate generator at the same time. Very strange.
Well, you guys will remember, going back a few years, the experience that we had when Jim and Sam were joining us to do some work at the Triangle, and we were, you know, trying to track the ISS. We've talked about this several times.
Yep.
You know, during that same time period, we had a setup there at the table where we watched separate systems, you know, one after another, just right down the table. This one struggles. This one goes blue screen of death. This one starts flickering. Then the next, and they all start turning off. And Travis has got, in some cases, devices that become unresponsive. In other cases, they're actually outright damaged. So it's there are two interesting aspects. It's the fact that it's separate systems, but it also seems to propagate as if it's moving down the table. Very interesting, spooky, spooky.
I don't want to forget Steve, the jet engine smoke guy.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Voodoo shit.
All his stuff broke. Everything.
Yeah, he had 4 errors on that machine, separate things. Yeah. And then we saw just prior to that, we saw the Eric or Travis's laptop when they were over at Homestead 2 got hit by something. We heard a noise, and then all of a sudden his laptop goes down. His program, I mean, he had to restore the computer, I believe, and reload his softwares back on there. I'll
tell you, the part that I find really challenging about all of this is that I can't come up with something. I could possibly come up with an explanation for something environmental that's like ambient, that's like affecting everything at the same time. But at least the way we watch these things evolve, it's as if there is a localized effect that is moving through space. It's very tempting to think of some invisible, finger reaching and touching each one of these separate pieces of equipment, which of course, I mean, that's allegorical, but the fact that it's localized, separated in time, multiple systems, that makes it more interesting to all of us.
Yeah. I tell you what, and again, I go back to the whole thing that I've said many, many times about Skinwalker Ranch and the weird stuff, the high strangeness that's going on there. You guys have heard me say this before, but when I get people that tell me it's all BS and it's all made up and blah, 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 and I say, well, you just absolutely do not watch this show, because if you really did and you paid attention, you'd see there is some dramatic things going on at this place that just don't make sense.
Yeah. Well, they're always the people that haven't invested any time in it.
Correct.
They watch a few minutes of it and are like, they just assume it's all fake. But
yeah,
you spend a little bit of time digging in. There's a lot to figure out here.
Well, I'm going to pick on Pete a little bit here. I got to say, you said something earlier, Pete, that I respect a lot. You can tell he's really, I would say, provoked and a bit worried about what we're seeing. And, some of those measurements, sometimes we do just have one witness measurement or measurement type. And what we're concerned about is this, word that comes up every once in a while, the epistemics, right? How do we know what we know? And, I think people can be forgiven is probably the right word for just trying to, put it all in alignment with what they're familiar with and possibly dismiss it. But it's not that simple. It's just not that simple.
All right.
This is not a game to be played by the faint of heart.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
And I really got to hand it to you guys for putting up with everything that, I mean, there's a couple million people that would love to go out to the ranch, but you know what? Honestly, I really think about you all, being, especially you and Jim Royston, spending so much time there with all this weird stuff going on. I mean, I kind of I know you probably don't, but I kind of think about, man, it's dangerous in some respects. Take the helicopter last week, flying around up there with all this stuff going down, and Brandon made the call to end the experiment and bring the helicopter down. I mean, it can be dangerous.
I think it's we've talked about this before. I think it's to push a little bit further on what Eric's talking about. My one-liner for years has been, look, check your ego at the gate, because all the things you think and whatever expertise is, all the familiarity you have with your gear and all your experience, odds are you're going to leave here humbled. And I think that, again, I've said this so many times, the common denominator is some of us come back to that, and some of us say, I'm out, done.
Yeah. Some of us say, you got some voodoo shit going on here, and I want out of the ranch.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's got to be the thought process, but somebody that like you leaning into this and want to come back and really start working and figuring it out, I got to hand it to you for that. Question from Mike here. It says, would a power stabilizer or similar device like we used in concert lighting, power stabilizing work or help narrow it down? Would that help narrow it down? Something like that?
I'd like to know your thoughts on that, Mike.
It would help to a point. I mean, if the power goes all the way out, you're not necessarily going to get any benefit from that. But especially with sensitive equipment, it would definitely help keep the power consistency is critical to some of those finer tuned pieces of equipment. It certainly would not hurt to try and make sure that the power that is going there, if it's the power line that is being disrupted, and that can be monitored too. The amount of voltage that's coming through and any dips or spikes, whether it's low or high, will cause a lot of electronics to do bad things. So,
it's an interesting sort of coincidence, a bit of a full circle moment for me, because it's a little known fact that I spent 3 years working on battery charge management systems, UPS devices, uninterruptible power supplies, that exact kind of technology. And to the question, I think, if you're trying to solve the problem, that is a good direction to go. But again, it's not so much about filtering out the effect. Sometimes we want to actually charge headlong into it. And I see you nodding your head, Jeff.
Yep.
Sometimes we're looking for those pieces of equipment that act as canaries. We don't want to filter out the very thing we're there to look for. Something that would normally function just fine. If it turns out that that's a sensitive indicator to something going on in the environment, well, I want that thing out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, you have so many failures, it's like, and we kind of chuckle about it and laugh, like the 48 cameras coming out there, and then are they all going to work? And then we're all going, no, there's no way they're all going to work. And sure enough, 12 of them didn't work, but that's all data. If everything worked the way it was supposed to every single time, is that data also? Yeah, I guess so. But you're not going to really get anything from that. So with these failures and the things going awry and the smoke not making the rings that it's supposed to make, and you got the exact same measurement of stuff going in every tube, but yet it doesn't work the way it's supposed to. That's like you said, that's the interesting part of the data you can gather and put together to try to figure this thing out, right? So, yeah, but it is interesting to, like Pete said, check your ego at the door and your confidence in your equipment. Jan Francke, you built it, and yet it's not going to work the way it's designed. You designed it to work only there, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I put together, I've got another little video, and this one is just showing the lights going off on the lasers and stuff, kind of the progression of how that all went. And I'll try not to, so there's the lasers on, and boom, they go out. They all come back on separately like that. There's Caleb pointing it out. Hey, that all went out.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a second. Whoa. Wait, I got to back that up. But what? Is that a rocket? Is that a rocket right there on the launcher?
Does look like a rocket, kind of.
It does look like, I can't zoom in on it, but that looks like a rocket right there. I said there was no rocket. Well, and they didn't shoot any, but that sure looks like a rocket sitting on the launcher. Anyway, sorry. I just noticed that for the first time because we said there's no rockets. And there's a rocket.
Can you imagine being Prometheus right now? You're like, oh God. Oh God.
Every frame, these guys are crazy. What are they doing?
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll continue on, but so the lights go out and then the loss of video, and there's that flicker. See how it flickers?
Yeah.
That's that flicker I was talking about, where it's. I saw that other picture. Why was that coming up on that screen? But
interesting choice.
Yeah. And then you see everything start to come back on. So as somebody in the chat asked, did the power come back? Yes, it did.
David?
Yeah, the power did come back on. and they were actually able to continue after that, which was good, because if the power had gone, I mean, they went over and they checked the breakers. Now and they thought, well, maybe it's the breakers, and the breakers where you had power to the box. So, and then you seemed to, it was between the box and the units, everything that went down, I guess that, what's in between them. Wires. I don't know what's in between the box and the units, but something in there is what failed, and caused all of this. So,
hey guys, I'm convinced there are some folks out there who would say, well, let's filter all of this out. Let's nail it all down so everything works, and then we can conclude that there's nothing going on.
If only.
Right. Yeah.
Right. It's just a different way of engaging, I suppose. We're looking for those deltas, though. It's everything is has a minus sign in it. Differential analysis. What's different? What's new? Why is something happening here and not over there, or now and not some other time? And I really think that's a big part of the whole investigation, is trying to understand the conditions under which things are behaving in unexpected ways.
Right. Yeah. You've been at it for, well, you've been at it. I mean, we talk about, they've been at it for 7 years now, and we still can't figure out exactly what's going on there. But the progression of knowledge gained over that course of that 7 years has been dramatic. And it really, truly has, in my opinion, anyway. You still don't know exactly what the anomaly is, but you have a much better, you absolutely are certain that there is an anomaly now, where back in the beginning it was just weird things happening, and now you can nail it down to things happening in the triangle area. But there is a connection to Homestead 2, Homestead 3, and the rest of the ranch as well. So I do have another. I did get. It's not really a befuddled picture of Eric, but in the command center,
dang it! I was get that out.
There's that. Well, the reason I snapped this picture was not because of you, the face you're making, but there's your screen there that you were talking about.
Yeah.
I always love to see what you have on your screens, and it was this one too that really got me. Is what is that a ground view looking up at the lasers? Is that what that is?
Yeah. So I had we've got PTZ cams, right? It's a pan, tilt, zoom. Cameras mounted on I guess what we call the science tower. Mm-hmm. I guess any tower is a science tower if you're doing science with it. And so I'm looking, essentially straight up, and so we've got a lot of different views of what's going on. As you can see, there are all sorts of instruments there running at the same time as simultaneous witnesses.
Yeah. Yeah, and I noticed that one thing we did not get this time, at least it wasn't aired. And if it happened and it didn't air, then you guys can't talk about it. But before, with the new SALT lasers, we had that portion of, I think it was just the green that was blocked out. It had that, like something was blocking out the gap in the laser light, which the laser should not have been able. If there was something blocking it, it should not have been able to continue above the missing section. But it didn't seem as though we had. Oh, there it is right there. Somebody, Skyhawk's asking, Steve, did you see the gap in the green laser again? This time, not far off the ground. I didn't see it. He's saying there was one. I didn't see it. I think that's what did you guys see the gap? Again, I did not catch that.
Yeah, I didn't either.
No.
Okay.
This is my lawyer face.
Okay. All right.
If I didn't see it in the series, then I didn't see it, right?
Correct. That's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. If you didn't see it on the show, it didn't happen. Right. That's exactly right. So we'll just continue on. Maybe there was something that's going to come out in in Brandon Fugel's conference room. We don't know. Maybe we'll see. But I did catch you were talking about this particular scene here, looking at the 1.2 gigahertz. There was a lot of activity in that 1.2 gigahertz range all of a sudden. And you saw it in the one shot of the screens in the room there with you. I think Yeah, right here on the one
Okay.
behind you.
Yep.
Yep, you saw them there too, and they're just kind of going nuts. And again, I go back to is before you jumped in here with us, you probably heard us talking about it, Eric, where that signal that Travis was transmitting from the post of the western boundary, and he couldn't pick up the signal, and he's 70 feet away.
That
And
doesn't make any sense.
oh,
Yeah.
Well, of course. I mean, what are we first going to think when something like that happens? We're going to say there's got to be something wrong, right? I mean, there's got to be, something's A is not connected to B somewhere.
right.
But look, Travis has been doing this stuff for years. Unless there is a unless there's a gremlin in the system, and this is a system that he's used without those issues in the past. One of the things that first came to mind when I saw the behavior of that 1.2 peak, spreading out, I was thinking, I may have seen something like this before in another context. So, being careful not to explain things away. There's one of the parallel sort of interests that I have is whether we're seeing an effect like microphonics, I think is the term. And that's where, maybe something's happening that shakes, vibrates, or otherwise agitates a circuit and changes its behavior momentarily. I've worked with really sensitive equipment to where that's been an issue. Even ultrasound, very small vibrations will sometimes change the behavior of a circuit. And so we are looking at all those things. We are considering all those things, diving down into. I got a chirping sound behind me.
Yeah, I heard that. I was like, was that? Where'd they come from?
It's an audio system. You guys mentioned the flickering. I have that all the time. These things have been driving me crazy. I see the look on Pete's face. But yeah, I mean, what we don't often have time to treat, and probably we don't do justice to this, is the discussion of potential causes. What might be the prosaic explanation for the things we're seeing? That's we do go through that in real time and at the table. We just don't always put all that discussion. We don't put people through that discussion.
Well, yeah. I mean, I would love to be the fly on the wall listening to that discussion because honestly, I just find it all so fascinating. I really do. Everything that you guys put out there and coming up with new things. Now, I'm assuming if there's going to be a season 8, if there will be one, that you guys have come up with some great experiments to do for another time that we're going to see next year. But man, it blows my mind what's happening there already.
All right. Well, I want to put you on the spot, Jeff. Okay. If you could choose an experiment inspired by the things you've seen so far, what would that be?
Well, I think one of the things, and it might seem simplistic, but one of the things that fascinates me about all this is the form of, I keep asking the question, is the ranch or the anomaly trying to communicate with you in some way? And so I've tried to come up with ideas as to how would you be able to pick up this communication. You've had this repeating of things that you send out at 1.2 and it comes back 1.2, 33 megahertz, and it comes back to 33 megahertz. You're getting these signals back. Is there anything embedded within those signal in the carrier of that frequency coming back to you? Like take Contact, for instance, the movie Contact, where there was diagrams embedded into the signal on the carrier wave. So my thought was that if it is trying to communicate, let's try to set up something very simple. So take Homestead 2, for instance. There for a while, we had cameras in Homestead 2, and the insiders, we all saw, I'll just say Lucy, and I'm going to leave it alone at that because I know we're not supposed to talk about insider stuff. But I thought, you ever seen those scrolling signs where the words scroll across and you can type into it what you want it to say? Take one of those, hooked up to a Word database, and put it in Homestead 2, put a camera on it, and just let it sit there and see if anything manipulates the software to try to speak to you and put words scrolling across. I don't know. It seems simple. It seems like it's not ever going to work, but you never know. I mean, if something's trying to communicate, maybe if it can manipulate power, if it can manipulate drones, hopefully not a helicopter, but all these different things that you guys have thrown at it, and it's trying to communicate, could it do that? I don't know. Could it give you, it would need a word database, something that, maybe ask it questions. There you go. DC says, oh, ask it questions. Yeah. A response. Yeah.
Yeah. And look, that's that's a very humbling reference. That story is very humbling, intellectually humbling, because I realized when that happened, I am never going to know exactly what the heck is going on here.
Yeah.
You know, the timing is so suggestive. Speaking of timing, I know you've got probably a limited amount of time, but think about, you know, the experience with Pete, you know, so Pete and Thomas and I are at the command center. And I remember, Pete, you'll remember this. I'm sitting on the couch there and I said, now, why are we flying the Skydio and not the Mavic? Remember, because we were going to do the follow me, you know, out to the creek, and it was very, very interesting and suggestive and Pete said, because this is set it and forget it. This is the uncrashable drone. It cannot crash. Remember that, Pete? And
yes.
Well, I meant, of course, I know you remember the event, but I mean the conversation. You know, I wish we'd had a recording. Of course, we never know a priori what's going to happen, but I was asking, well, you know, I'm looking at this drone and it doesn't look like the platforms don't look that different. And I was thinking, well, why are we using this one? And you said it's set it and forget it. It's uncrashable. It's you just turn it on and it follows us. And when you look at what happened after that, how, you know, taken off from a table, right? Nothing complicated about navigating that space. And this thing is just swatted to the ground. You know, I don't know if it dove into the trees and ended up hitting the ground or whatever. You know, the timing of that is the real challenge. We just had the conversation. And I think that's a very common flavor of experience there at the ranch. You know, we'll talk about something. We'll either be brainstorming or maybe boasting our certainty about things. and then something of these weird natures happen.
Or taunting the ranch, telling it to rain drones upon you.
Yeah, right. That did happen.
It did happen.
All right, and I can't help but earlier we were talking about, you know, there's a new Bigelow podcast. Eric, not sure you're aware.
I'm not. Tell me about it.
Well, perhaps there is a segue here to, you know, because he's this enigmatic guy. He doesn't talk. He's not a public figure. And all of a sudden he's got a podcast this week.
Yeah.
Since
anyway,
when?
Just recently.
Two episodes, 2 hour-long episodes with George Knapp.
I've got to see that. I have got to see that because he said some stuff to me that I will never forget. And I was wondering, why did he say that? This was a long time ago in Salt Lake. And, you know, what did he say?
Well, I'm just wondering if there's a segment, because it's very clear that he's passionate about consciousness.
Yes.
And to your point just now about, you know, I boasted, well, it's the perfect tool. It's uncrashable. And we go outside and it's in the dirt and a total loss. I was just thinking that, you know, I wonder what Mr. Bigelow would make of that.
Yeah.
Based on his commentary, observations about consciousness on Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah.
When he was there. So anyway, I don't mean to tease people, but it's an interesting watch if you have the time.
Yeah, I've only seen the one so far where he and George Knapp were talking. It was the first one. I haven't seen the second one. I guess there's a second one now. I haven't seen that yet. But
and the second one, Eric, was crazy. Where, again, forgive me, listeners, I mentioned this already to Jeff and Mike, is that he's got Jim Lukatsky. Is that the right name?
Yeah.
It was, and this isn't, I don't know these people. I don't know these names. I'm just a drone reality capture guy. So I'm listening to this, and he tells this story that Lukatsky came to the ranch for the first time. They have this meeting in Homestead 1.
Mm-hmm.
They get back on Bigelow's plane, and they fly back to Vegas. And on the flight back, Lukatsky says, Mr. Bigelow, did you happen to see anything there when we were having that meeting in Homestead 1? And Bigelow says, no. Did you? And Lukatsky goes, yeah, there was this cylindrical, rotating, shiny object in the kitchen.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it was compared to, I believe the term was tubular bells.
Ding.
Yes.
Yeah, that was it. And, I saw a sketch of that. It might have been his sketch. I've got to go dig through my stuff and see. And yeah, it was geometry. And he's not the only person to have that perceptual experience. I'm going to call it perceptual experience, right? See something is a little more suggestive. But whatever it was, whether it was and this goes right to the bubble conversation. I'm always asking, is it out there in objective reality, or is it being somehow incepted into the data gathering process? Is it perhaps even incepted up here? It's humbling. Like I said, what did he see? Did he see it as something in that space, or was it effectively injected into his, we'll say, experience?
Yeah.
And it's geometry. And, there are other folks who in that very same spot, very same room, have related this, an experience of seeing another kind of geometry, sort of a tessellated pattern.
Wow. And Homestead 1 is that house that was right behind the
Next
command
to the
center,
command
right?
center.
Yeah. It's not much to look at. Pete will tell you. There's nothing fancy about it. Sometime we'll have to share some stories, from the years I spent out there, and as things that Thomas and I have co-witnessed. There's so many things we could talk about, but it's tough to do it justice.
Wow. Yeah, I'd love to hear them. Honestly,
Yeah.
it'd be great
Yeah.
stories because, there's a lot. There's so much, happening out there that we aren't privy to. But I tell you what, thank you very much for the TV show, because without it, we would know nothing that's happening.
Well, Jeff, if it makes you feel any better, there are things that I've experienced that I'm not privy to. And of course, what I mean by that is I don't understand them.
I know. I can only imagine. I mean, there's so much that you guys have documented that I still don't completely understand, like the signal not working 70 feet away, but yet you're picking it up stronger even in the command center, which is a lot further away.
And to be clear, that the image that you saw there, that spectrum analyzer was actually located at the South Tower, which is quite far to the south. It's about a mile south of the command center. So I was remote accessing the instrument that was taking that measurement.
Wow. Yeah. And yet Travis couldn't get it over where he was. So
I don't understand that. I don't get that.
Tower inside the bubble?
No, it's good question. No, it's out there on what I call the kitten's eye.
Okay.
If you look at that sort of knoll out there, if you look at it looks like a cat upside down.
Wow. Yeah. So, there's just so many things that and Mike and I, we've been doing this now for a couple of years and talking about all the episodes, and there's so much that I see it. I've talked about it, but I still cannot wrap my brain around how it happens, or what the causes may be, or what its a long-term effect might be. There's just so much that I don't get. And I'm sure that kind of is shared. That's why you guys keep at it, right? Because you're trying to solve a mystery that consciousness. You talk about consciousness at the ranch, and it's like, well, what else could it be? That's like we talked about the Drone-geddon, or Drone-mageddon, or whatever. That typical thing right there and I had you on the podcast, Eric, and you went and got Thomas. You pulled Thomas out of he was in the other room. You pulled him in to talk and tell that story of
Oh, we did. I had forgotten about that.
Yeah, you brought him in and you're like, tell that story, and he's up there explaining the story, standing behind you. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. I mean, how is it possible that something listened to you guys talking about that very thing, and then the one drone that you had a GPS on, is the one that came down and chased them into the tent? I mean, how does that happen? It just...
I didn't know that detail until I probably was the next day. I forget exactly when they explained it to me. It might have been immediately after the fact, but it's been long enough that time is a little iffy with me. But that really bothered me. The chances of that, it's pretty slim.
Yeah. 1,000,000 to 1, or 200 to 1, I guess.
So the big question for everyone who's thinking about communication and consciousness and all this stuff, what form or forms is communication allowed to take? And do we really have a protocol? Do we have a grip on that subject? Look, if I could just focus on that the right way, sure, I'd do it. We haven't had the luxury so far.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Different forms of communication. There's got to be a lot of them. And which one do we listen to? Go ahead, Mike.
Every fail mode that you see that we've talked about just in this one episode could be communication.
Yep.
Or an attempt at it. Yet to us, it's breaking our equipment or shutting our equipment off. It's just, that's the part that drives me crazy, but, is that there's so many fail modes, and it rarely repeats itself. It or manifests in a different way. And it's that with 30 years of manufacturing engineering under my belt and doing a lot of troubleshooting, and time is money, and you got to get the line back up and running. You got to figure it out fast. To have a changing intermittent failure is the worst possible thing to troubleshoot. And the ranch seems to specialize in that.
Well, Mike, if I wanted to get your attention, knowing that you're an attention to detail kind of guy, and if I wanted to communicate with you, and let's say there was some potential barrier, let's say there was something that had to be overcome, there's an energetic cost or something, and let's say I only have so much latitude to get your attention, I'm going to mess with the thing that has your attention already. That would be the more efficient, I think, modality. Because I know Mike's looking at this. I'm not going to go do something behind your back, and so I'm probably not saying anything you guys haven't already thought, but what you've just called failure modes may, in hindsight, be some of our greatest successes. Again, what is it we're trying to do? Are we just out there trying to fly drone shows? Obviously not. No. We're trying to understand something that we currently don't understand. So we expect non-conforming outcomes. And for those who don't have a tolerance for that, I would say, life is short. Go do something else.
Change the channel.
Yeah, change the channel.
Exactly. There's a little red X in the upper right-hand corner. Feel free,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but we're not just reveling in the fact that things don't go as planned. We have just a different engagement with it, if not a reverence for the process of learning, and maybe updating how we think about things.
Yeah. Yep. I was just looking at a comment here from Bowspeed. He said there are aspects to this phenomenon that are simply beyond human comprehension. I wonder if Eric has noticed how certain people seem to be brought together for a purpose. You got a team of people that just have come into this ranch now over the course of the last, probably longer than the 7 years we've been watching. I guess Ben Woodruff, he was involved before there was a show. So, so people are being brought together, and is that by chance, or is that by design in some way, or I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting to think about that. But yeah, the phenomenon that are simply beyond human comprehension. Yeah, there are aspects to this. I don't know. Maybe there are. Maybe he's right. Maybe there are parts of this that we will never understand.
Well, that's one way. I mean, that's a fair statement, and I respect it. But I think you can also look at it as an invitation to update what we call human comprehension.
Yes.
Right. Look, I lean towards the philosophical sometimes, and I should probably just shut up. But I think there is potentially. I think there's an invitation there. At least it seems implicit.
Yeah, I agree. I think so too. Because really, I mean, if it didn't want to, and again, I'm saying talking about some sort of a consciousness or an anomaly there that's going on. If it didn't want to communicate, if it thought, okay, look, this place here, these guys are just getting too crazy here. We're just going to move somewhere else and go away, and nothing happens anymore. It's just a quiet ranch from that day on, cows eating grass. So I mean, it almost seems like if it is a consciousness and it can go somewhere else, it doesn't, because it I don't know. Maybe it likes what's going on. I don't know. I'm going on a tangent. I probably shouldn't even try to go on. It's so above us.
You're actually going on the very same tangent that everyone quietly goes on.
Yeah.
If we're being honest, and we might as well be, you're thinking along. Look, the very first hypothesis that I ever put out there was not a hypothesis. It was more of a statement of our predicament. It was kind of a satire, and I called it the Solaris conjecture. And it had to do with this very thing, the sort of unifying explanation that pins the phenomenology to the ranch. Why is it there? What is it? And what is the role of the observer? And of course, I circulated that within a fairly small circle. But there were a lot of nods. Guys who had worked with this problem set before, one of them memorably said, this sounds right.
Well, you made me feel good one day, because we were talking about how I speculate a lot, and I do. Whatever show it might be we're talking about or whatever, I speculate a lot. And you said, no, that's good, because speculation brings up new ideas for new things to do and stuff like that. You come up with let's try this, and you speculate about it. And so that made me feel good. I was like, well, good, because I'm constantly thinking about that sort of thing.
Hey, speaking of speculating, knowing now that Pete's LiDAR has additional information that you're looking into, Eric, if you're taking experiment ideas, what I'd love to see Mr. Kelsey challenged with is put every LiDAR you've got on the ranch, both mobile and static, and run them all at the same time so that you can corroborate between them, when the goal here is not the end product. It's not the finished scan. It's the
perfect.
real-time scan.
Yeah.
So that if one LiDAR catches an object, you can corroborate that with another LiDAR. And did it catch it for one sweep of the scan, or did it catch it for, five sweeps, and then it went away and it would have been covered up, but you can see it for those 5 sweeps. And do that with everything you got, and poke the hornet's nest, shoot the rockets off, shoot the firebomb, the smoke rings, whatever you got.
I'm hearing the 1812 overture now.
Yes.
I love what you said about that, Mike. And Pete's known this for years. The deliverable in our circumstance of any of these surveys is not the conventional deliverable. Yeah. In some cases, it is the process. And one of these things I've got on the screen behind me, if I lean back here, this allows me to study point for point in that point cloud exactly where was the instrument when that particular dot was inserted into the data. We're watching that process unfold. It is so fascinating. So I've been going through Pete's work, for the last several years, bringing it back to life, putting the process back out there, effectively in real time or however I want to do it. The deliverable is not it's not a nice map of the ranch. Okay. We've got enough of that. It's looking at the things that don't belong and what were the circumstances when that happened.
Yep.
It's the same thing with this GNSS stuff that I've got on the screen. I'm looking at the canopy of the sky and looking at the signals from the satellites, and I'm looking at this is basically a radiometric map of the sky from the perspective of the ranch. It's interesting, I'm looking for differences. I don't just. It's like I don't want to just have the instrument tell me where I am. I know that.
Yeah.
It's not just a latitude, longitude, and altitude. There's all this. So much metadata. There's so much more in there. And so we are doing mapping in space and time and God knows what else circumstance.
So you can run experiments like you would during the season, the filming season. You can run different experiments utilizing technology that's not even yours or on the ranch or whatever. That's pretty awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
And seeing how
so this thing is on the ranch. This is a measurement on the ranch, and this is measurements that were done on the ranch.
Right. But you're looking at stuff that's not located on the ranch, right?
Yeah.
From GNSS. Yeah, the signals.
Right. So, I used to put it in grandiose terms. I really like the way this sounded. I'd say, well, if we're using GPS or GNSS, it's really a multi-billion-dollar project. It's a multi-billion-dollar, however many hundreds of billions of dollars worth of equipment that are the other half of the apparatus, right? All those, what are we doing? We're opportunistically using all those assets that are out there in middle Earth orbit. And what are we bringing? We're bringing the sensor, we're bringing, the other part. And together, those components on the ranch and out in orbit form this gigantic instrument. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
We'll tell you what I'm hearing is our next off-season experiment.
Oh, yeah.
Mike, you're coming. Jeff, you're coming. Let's do it.
Can we go live? I got the equipment. We'll go live right there.
We've done some streamed activities before.
Ah, nice.
Not too long ago. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, well, I'll tell you what, let's get it. Well, I have still one more thing that I want to show on here. I could go, honestly, I could stay live and just do this all night. I really could. I love this. Absolutely. Okay. So this last experiment, the last mine, would you call it? Explosion. You had a name for it, Mike, earlier.
The fuel mine?
Fuel mine. Thank you. Yes. The fuel mine that went off. Oh, Pete did. Yep. Sorry. That went off. And then on the thermal that Dave Mason had over there, he and the guy from New Salt were looking at the thermal, going, "Hey, wait a minute, what's going on over here on the mesa, on the edge of the mesa? You're seeing all these spots light up over there." And so when I first saw this, I thought, well, you're doing all these explosions, or is it possible that these exposed rocks are picking up the heat from the explosions and then retaining enough of that heat to show up on the LiDAR? That's what went through my mind initially, but I thought
thermal. You said LiDAR.
Oh, I'm sorry, thermal. Yes.
Yeah.
Is that possible that those things could heat that up enough?
Sure, but they wouldn't stay hot.
It wouldn't stay hot very long.
Dave Mason was saying they were retaining heat way too long.
Yeah. So this looks like the differential. This is the differential, right?
Yes.
Yeah. This is Dave Mason's.
He's down in the I guess tens of millikelvin, or it's very, very sensitive. He does a baseline, so he takes an image. Think of a thermal baseline, and then what you're seeing are the changes. So if it lights up, as we see here in these yellow regions, it means that something is showing up as being warmer, hotter, or more emissive. That's another part of the equation. You can explain that sometime, Mike, because you got emissivity and you've got temperature, both of which contribute to the signal that we see here. Something's changing the picture in such a way as to make those guys light up and stay lit up. And that's the question. It's not, my understanding is it's not like Metaframe where, like I'm grabbing onto it and hanging onto it, until I clear it. This is something that sustains. Have you guys had Dave on your discussion on your podcast?
I talked to Dave a little bit of this was, a while back. We had a little discussion with him about some stuff, but and he was explaining to us how the differential FLIR worked, and explaining that to us a little bit. And I was doing my very best to grasp onto his explanations, but that was it. I mean, we kind of went through that with him, because I wanted to know, what is a differential FLIR? I mean, what makes it?
Okay, so have you ever used a FLIR camera? Like, have you ever messed with one of those?
Yes.
Okay, so you're looking in real time at what effectively the temperatures are. There's some calibration involved, but you're just getting a temperature.
Yep.
And years and years ago, I guess, he had a reason, or maybe just a curiosity or desire. You'll have to ask him. I think it might actually come out of some of his personal experiences. He decided that he wanted to change the picture a bit. He wanted to not see what is the temperature, but how has the temperature changed, from a certain point on the timeline.
Right.
And he wanted to do that in a way that was extremely sensitive. And so, that's something he's very excited about, is being able to discern very subtle things. Mm-hmm. You get him started, boy, he'll fill you in.
Yeah, what he captured last week really blew my mind. Last week the show was about part of it was about Jim Royston's drone being pushed back being directly overhead. The triangle, it kept getting pushed. And then on Dave Mason's FLIR shows up this, you see the little yellow spot that is the drone. And then you see this yellow rectangle cigar shaped thing that's coming closer and closer to it. And is that what's pushing it? I don't know, but this thing is getting closer and closer. And then it disappears, like it went into I'm going to say a portal, like it went into a doorway. It went into something. You see it fade away from one side to the other as it went in. And you're like, what the heck is that?
Yeah. Well, look, I'm not gonna give anything away, but I'll say this: it's important to discern between a thing and the effect of the thing. In other words, like think of a boat and its wake, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes when all you can see is a wake, you sometimes are tempted to interpret that as the thing, right?
Right. Oh, that's a very good point. That is. So, so that kind of stuff. I mean, seeing things that the eye, can't see. It was like when they had the Doppler radar and they were saying, hey, there's something right over the triangle, and there's Pete and Caleb, and they're all looking up in the air going, we don't see anything. It's broad daylight. We don't see a thing over here. And yet Doppler radar showing some sort of a thing right there, or the effect of a thing right above the triangle, but yet nobody could see it. So it's again, it blows me away. But we see that next week when we're going to have a lot of people on the show with us. It could be a madhouse. I'm hoping it does get to be a bit of a madhouse. Eric, you're welcome to come too. Because Ben's
I'm too much of a distraction. I need to let you guys do
you got to keep him under control.
Yeah, Ben and Chris and Pete, Jan is going to be here. You're welcome to come.
Oh my goodness! You guys are in for a treat.
I have not had Chris and Ben on the show before. I've been chatting with them a little bit off. But
that sounds a lot like Critical Mass to me.
Well, we're supposed to be talking about the season finale, which we know will mostly be in talking about in Brandon's conference room, but we hope we get to see a little bit of data of things that we haven't seen yet, the actual post data review on things like that. So hopefully that'll come up, like Jan's GPR going down in the 4-foot hole down 38 feet. We hope we get to see. And then, of course, they had the little next time on Skinwalker Ranch come up, and we got to see Hal. Yeah, he's going to be there. And, of course, Jay Stratton, the man himself. And our this gentleman right here, Mr. Burchett, and coming out, and we've seen him, he's a really big advocate for disclosure and everything, which is great to see. I'm glad to see him being involved in this in some way. And then we get this guy right here.
Oh man. Really? In the cliffhanger?
Yeah, and then he turns around and drops this now. And again, editing. I always got to say editing because he's going, well, I saw something up on the mesa, and boom. And then we see Jan going, what? And
Okay. I want that picture of Jan.
okay, I'll send it to you. Woo! Yeah. That was the befuddled face. I said I had a picture of somebody's.
Okay, now I'm off the hook.
But we see this, and we're like, okay. And 1960, or is that 0961? I don't know. But yeah, kind of interesting on that right there. But yeah, that came up. This was Tom, who was another co-host of mine for another program that we talk about, and he grabbed a picture of it, and he said, well, you got the 1960 over here. You got one right here, the one stamped in, and then he wrote one. There's a 2 and a 2, a 3, 3, 5, 5, and 4. So we're sitting here trying to figure out what is this thing. And I think, Mike, you had a little bit of a explanation.
Well, I'm just saying sometimes survey markers look like that. And sometimes galvanized pipe and caps are used for that. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they were used that way for Utah, but sometimes they are. Or it's something else. And
entirely, maybe. I don't know.
Pete just is going to let us hang here.
Yes, he is.
For a whole nother week.
A whole nother week. Yep. The interesting thing that I thought, of course, now this, when you take 1960 and you start thinking about that date, now what else happened that we know of around that time frame took place? Well, we have the nickel that was found by Chris Roberts, talking about the nickel that was possibly left behind by archaeology crew that was doing some work, and they oftentimes would leave behind a token of that year, a coin with that year of the time that they were doing the archaeology work. So we saw that 1964, and then we knew about the pictures that were taken or found by Travis when he was looking back at the pictures of the ranch, and how we had this gap between 1963 and 1969. Mm-hmm. How they changed slightly, looking at the drill site, in these different pictures here, and they definitely.
Yeah, it's important to point out, these are taken obviously years apart, but by fixed wing aircraft survey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and of course the time of day and the lighting conditions and all of those things have to be taken into consideration. So, Travis when he engaged with that, he knew he was taking on a pretty big challenge.
Yeah, because you can see different in definition too. You see different definition on it, but so we know that anyway. So we know that these things. So why was there a gap between 63 and 69? A couple of year gap there that they weren't taking any pictures of the area. So a lot of speculation there about what that may.
I'm blaming it on the Beatles.
That's good. And then there was also a thing that talked about the different blue books. You had Project Sign, Project Grudge. These may have nothing to do with it, but you had Project Blue Book that was officially taken down in 1969. So different things that were happening at different times of that marker. Again, it's what made me think of when I saw that 1960 on that marker. I thought, that's interesting, is it not? What else happened around that time from the show perspective? So that's why I went down that road with those things. But
Pete, what you got to say for yourself?
That look.
He's looking up at the ninja
lawyers coming out of the ceiling.
Wear a cup.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I can't wait to I can't wait to have you on next week, Pete, so we can hear from you firsthand after they show the explanation. Go ahead, Eric.
I just saw the comment here at the bottom.
They shut aircraft for 9 states and flew days ago, claiming GPS probes
in the Midwest.
Problems 1.6. And radio jamming. Was that recent?
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
So
I didn't hear much of the details, but I did hear about that. Yeah.
Claiming GPS problems and 1.6 frequency radio jamming. Wow, really?
And without, again, dragging us too far into the weeds, one of the things I've been looking at for now over a year with this Navstars thing, I'm looking at L1 and L2. Of course, those are 2 different frequencies that are used for global positioning. And what I find really interesting is, sometimes I'll get a really, really big hit, on one, but not the other, right? And you have to think about, well, what can do that? And so there are all these classifications of interference, some of them natural. I've got, some of that showing up in the survey, but, some of it absolutely does look like effectively some kind of jamming. Time will tell.
Wow.
I mean, what do? You take a lot of data and then you do exactly what I've been doing, which is throwing AI at it and saying, what patterns do you see? I'll tell you what I see. You tell me what you see.
Yeah. Yep. Interesting. Wow. I hadn't heard about that. So that's, that's dangerous. Yes, it's very dangerous. Yep. Absolutely dangerous. We know that the GPS doesn't like to work at Skinwalker Ranch. And you brought up the ISS, communication with the ISS. We brought up that a little while ago, talking about that, how when the ISS was directly overhead, you lost contact with it. And then it came back as it was, not directly overhead anymore. That was really odd. What would cause that? But again, lose communication with the helicopter from a walkie-talkie. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. The problems that equipment has out there. It's just
well, you just described the circumstance. Let's use that as an object lesson. The ISS situation. You just described it in the most natural terms, the way we described it, right? Mm-hmm. We're scanning, the signal goes away, and now it comes back. But now let's think about what Travis experienced in this. Well, you just reviewed this one episode where he's right there next to the darn thing, right? And he's not getting anything. So the question then is, what do you actually know? You know that you didn't get a signal. Well, there's any number of reasons for that, right? Is this really driven by, where is it, relative to the ranch, the triangle, or is it, something that's completely asynchronous with that? Is it just something messing? Your equipment's working, then it's not working, and then it's working again. There's all sorts of stuff. It's very humbling. You got to revisit your own description of the problem sometimes.
Right. Yep.
There's a website somewhere, I can't remember what it is, but specific to GPS issues that can go on like globally. It has to do with solar flares.
Yes, yes.
And it's public, and land surveyors are well aware of this.
Yeah.
Like, before they go out in the field, they'll go to this website and look at conditions and go, okay, we're good, or we should probably wait 24 hours, something like that. But what went on recently that you guys were just talking about appears to be a little bit more nefarious.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No. Well, yeah, we're way past the 2 hours, but I tell you what, this has been, I could just keep on going. I really could, but we got to
if you guys hadn't been scolding me for climbing the towers, I would have stayed out of your hair.
That was all Pete.
It got you here.
Yes, it did. And we're thankful that it did too. I so appreciate you coming on, because you bring so much more, and Pete does too. I mean, Mike and I can sit here and we can tear up a show and love it and still tear it up and talk about different things on there, but we can't get to some of the deeper explanations or the reasonings. And having you guys on is just, it's an honor to me to have you both come on here and talk about this kind of stuff. So I thank you for that very much. And like I said, folks, next week is going to be a bit of a madhouse because we're going to have so many of us in here. And sometimes it gets a little crazy, but I'm going to try not to talk much. I'm going to get the show started. I'm going to light the fuse and then sit back and watch and see what happens, because I got a feeling we're going to hear a lot of stuff, happening. I would love to take the time to talk to Ben and get Ben's story. Well, we're probably not going to have a lot of time for that. Same thing with Chris. I'd love to have Chris on separately and get Chris's story, because both of them added to, and this is where I applaud Brandon and whoever is bringing all these folks to bear into this project, because you're bringing other people, like bringing in archaeology. Look what you found now with the archaeology, bringing in the I'm going to say wildlife, or bringing in Ben's
life sciences.
Yes, exactly, and Ben's expertise into this, and look what has come from that. It's just phenomenal, and bringing Pete on board and bringing Jan on board, and I just have to hand it to you. And that's where I think that person was alluding to earlier about bringing people together onto the ranch that are going to help solve this. And I applaud you guys for thinking outside of that and bringing more people in to help solve this mystery. So it's a great thing, and I can't wait to see. I really can't wait for next week. But boy, we're gonna have to wait a long time now, Mike. After we got one to go, and then we're done. We're done. I shouldn't say done. I'm going to say this, folks, because we still have over 300 of you out here watching right now. The Insider Program. I'm going to tout it again real quick. I do this just about every week. I talk about the Insider Program because it is fantastic. You get to learn. You learn so much from an investment of $94 a year or something like that, $10 a month, $11 a month. I think Michelle always corrects me on this, but the Insider Program is wonderful, and I know Mike's a part of it. I'm a part of it. I love it. We get to hear you guys break down the episodes. We also get to hear Eric, when you're at home or we're working in your lab and you're going through stuff and you're sharing so much with the insiders in there. It's so more worth than the money you pay for it, that we pay for it to make this happen. And I applaud you guys for doing the Insider Program. And I think that it's really $12 a month, $96 a year. There's Michelle. Thank you. It's a great program, and you get to learn so much if you're interested in this stuff. It's great. So
yep.
I'm so glad to be part of it. I really am. And Phenomicon coming up. You guys you guys are going to be there. I'm assuming you're all going to be there. Pete, are you presenting this year?
I don't think so. I think I got a pass.
You got a pass. Well, I remember the one time you two were talking about the drone that doesn't crash, and you and Eric were standing outside doing a presentation outside in the side of the building there, and I was there, and talking about that particular drone. So Phenomicon is wonderful. It's coming up here in less than a month, just barely less than a month, and I can't wait to get to Utah. Christine and I will be there, and we're gonna, we're looking forward to it. You went last year, Mike,
yep.
And had a great time. You're not coming this year, right?
Can't make it this year, but it is well worth the trip. It's action packed, and boy, you really got to plan your schedule, because they have multiple speakers at the same time, and you got to pick. And sometimes it's hard to pick which one you want to go to. So it's nonstop.
Yeah. It's a great thing. So that and the Insider Program, great stuff. Really love it. And I can't wait to get back to Utah for all of this. So, hey guys, thank you so much. Eric and Pete, thank you guys for coming in, popping in. And again, you're both welcome next week with everybody else. I don't know what's going to happen, folks, but we're going to have fun. Just put it that way. We're going to learn a lot.
That's one thing we know. It'll be fun.
You won't be bored.
No, definitely not. We might have to go 3 hours. I don't know. We'll just see how it all pans out at the end. But thank you, folks, for joining us here tonight. We appreciate each and every one of you so very much. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you like the content of the show we did here for you tonight, please consider giving us a thumbs up and maybe a hype later on, and share it with your friends. Because it's like I say, I get caught in the act of learning. I got that from Eric. caught in the act of learning, and I want to share it with as many people as possible. That's what this show is all about.
Well, you guys make it look cool. I just make it look befuddled, but you make it look cool.
So you just make it. You and Pete just like to make it look dangerous, is what you do. Climbing on towers, hanging out of helicopters, whatever. Yeah, that's all in the name of science, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, folks, for joining us, and we'll catch you next time right here in the J Free 906 podcast. Good night.